Hello, and thank you so much for joining us for your Ring of Honor post-show into your TNA post-show. We'll do the handoff around the top of the hour, a couple minutes after that, but please get in your super chats tonight. No humper chats, just super chats on this show, and also please leave a thumbs up on this video. It helps people find us in the algorithm. Kimmy likes it when I say we're the little show that could, so I'll say that again, but I am joined by the delightful Kimmy Sokol tonight. Kimmy, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so happy to be back. I feel like I've made it in society that I was back for a second time, and we're
You
here.
are delightful. You are also an ROH girly, so we're very excited to have an ROH girly back. We had Astrid last week, who was also fantastic. As we kind of come down the mountain, I will have some updates on a permanent co-host, I think, in the very near future. But very happy to be able to shed a spotlight on some of my faves right now, including Miss Kimmy. She joined us for an NXT review one week, but her heart is with ROH in a lot of ways that my heart is also with ROH. So I'm very glad to bring her around for this specifically. A couple more people popping in than we're just here. So I will remind you to leave a thumbs up and to get in your super chats if you want your question or statement read on air. And before we dive in, I'll of course remind you to subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. I unintentionally created a little bit of a stir with the Dijak news that got reported like a couple of weeks ago. I said AEW is nuts if they're not considering Dijak, and everyone was like, wait, is he a free agent? Is his contract coming up? I'm telling you, people, FightfulSelect.com. Also updates on Becky and Natalya back there as well, and not just contract news. We got all the best scoops in the game. Anything that is injury related or sex trafficking investigation related or release related goes on our free tier, because that's just icky. That's just icky to paywall. So you can also subscribe on the free tier, but $5, best $5 of the game, gets you all the scoops you could possibly want, bonus podcasts, Sean's Q&A, and also access to the Fightful Select Discord where I did a Q&A earlier today. But Kimmy, what did you think of tonight's episode overall?
It was better than some weeks. We had three champions. This is a very big deal. Three cheers for three champs. That's what I called my written review. I was so hyped. But I feel like we're still getting nowhere. The Bang Bang Gang have yet to appear on an episode of Ring of Honor since winning the Ring of Honor 6-man titles. And I'm a little confused by that because they do travel to Collision, and Ring of Honor's taped before and after Collision. And I understand that Mark and his wife just had a child, but why don't I have an update on my World Heavyweight Champion? Very confused.
Yeah, there are some huge missing gaps here, and also just a couple of things that I noticed are like the absence of Dalton Castle. I would love to see them do a boy search like Stokely Hathaway did a baddie search when he came in here for Jade. I thought that was super fun. It would be a super fun thing to run back with Dalton Castle. Lee Johnson, who was getting such consistent reps and was challenging for that TV title, seems to be nowhere to be found as well. So just a little bit curious as to where some of those regulars are. And of course, getting frustrated by the irregulars, right? The people that we see on AEW just popping down to ROH for no real reason. Continues to be a frustration as the lack of clarity around this roster. But you're right. It is progress to have champions on the show. I am getting very tired of proving ground matches where nothing happens. Like nobody ever proves their ground. But champions on your show sounds like a bare minimum thing, but not something we're always entitled to. So very relieved to have that on the show. But let's get into it because we do start with your ROH TV champion Kyle Fletcher versus Mentallo. Mentallo, am I saying that right? I think this was a proving ground match to start the show. I'm not quite sure like what to kind of expect from this Kyle Fletcher reign with him losing so much on the main roster, but supposedly being a champion here, it just feels so at odds because he takes so many pins in AEW. Mentallo, I think is how it's said. But a former foe of Kenny Omega, which was mentioned by commentary, which I appreciated very much. Kyle Fletcher is just a phenom. Like, I don't know what to say that we don't say on other weeks about this guy. He's incredible. The stalling suplexes, the brain buster, and this Mentallo did get a really nice moonsaults to the floor in this that I thought looked really good, but Kyle Fletcher ultimately winning with the pile driver. What did you think of our opening match, Kimmy?
I thought it was a good way to kick off the show, meaning it is the TV champion that should be defending on TV. What a concept. But I agree with you. I am very confused because when he wrestled Johnson at Supercard of Honor, I was like, oh, Kyle's going to go to Don Callis' family. He'll move up to AEW. He had a nice little reign. Lee Johnson, who's there every week, TV champ, makes sense. They didn't do that. And I'm just really confused as to why they didn't strap up Lee when they had the chance to, because he doesn't even, like, some weeks doesn't even come out with the Ring of Honor TV title on Dynamite.
It is annoying. And to your point about Lee, I get that they also they made a very clear pivot, right? That story was Ethan Page. We now know Ethan Page is no longer under the AEW ROH brand. Huge swing and a miss on their part, if you ask me. But Lee kind of got thrown into the picture. So who knows? Like, maybe they just felt like it wasn't the right time because that wasn't the original plan or whatever. But it does feel like we are getting split personalities of people in both promotions, and I can't stand that. It drives me nuts. The one thing that never wavers is Kyle Fletcher's work rate, though. But I agree with you. It's a little bit muddy with this TV reign, especially when you do have, like, Dalton Castle right there. I don't know where Willie Mack has been, but he was a regular that's no longer around. Like, there were options of who you could belt up, but they just kind of keep throwing it on Fletcher, and I don't know. Like, I don't know if it was, let's do this until Mark Davis comes back, what that looks like. I've heard rumor, not a report, but that it's still ways away for him, unfortunately. So I'm not sure kind of what to expect, because it also doesn't feel like we're really building any contenders here either. Like, it doesn't feel like there's a next man up to sink our teeth into. Match was great, though. Like, it's never the in-ring that's a problem. His match pacing continues to be outstanding in my opinion, but
I thought when they were doing the whole TV ready thing with, like, Johnny and Dalton, I was like, that's going to build up to the next TV champ.
It sure seemed that way. Now, of course, Dalton lost the boys in the process, so I get that too. But Ricardo saying, happy wrestling, Kate, Kimmy, and chat. Well, happy wrestling to you, Ricardo. I love me some Ian Riccaboni lines sneaking into the chat for sure. But a really, really great opening contest. I was not familiar with Mentallo at all. And I thought there was some really, really cool offense that he got in as well. I just cannot get over, like, the strength and agility and speed of Kyle Fletcher. Like, man, has that guy put it all together. I also loved him jumping the bell in the beginning of this. Just nice storytelling of, like, this is a proving ground match. I'm not even going to let you get an extra second in that 10-minute time frame. I'm going to do damage before the bell even kicks. I thought it was a nice way to go there.
See, he understands 10 minutes. No one's going to prove their ground anyway. Just got to make it go fast.
That's it. Kyle Fletcher knows ball. He knows what he's doing in there. So good stuff from Kyle Fletcher. And we move on to Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh against Evil Uno and John Silver. Nice to see the Dark Order back in action here. I've been wondering where the hell they've been with a myriad of other teams, but Uno getting a notably large ovation. You can tell on these Canada runs that that is basically a home crowd to him. So that was just very nice to see. Uno just seems like a wonderful dude. So nice that he gets a warm reception there. Some fun stuff in this with John Silver muscling up to Satnam Singh and Uno and Reynolds going, John, that's so stupid. Just like these little fun things in here. And I want to say, I asked Sanjay Dutt for his pencil and he never responded to me on X. So it's disappointing because I just want to borrow his pencil. That's all. And he has yet to respond. But a fun finish here, too. I like the placating into Satnam Singh's size in this. Silver going for the knee, which makes sense, but he just gets booted to the moon. And then Uno and Silver double teaming Singh, but he choke slams Uno like it was no big deal, which was very impressive. And you have Silver jumping on the back while Lethal comes in to break it up and get the pin. What did you think of our tag match here?
I thought it was going to be quick because I was like, okay, even though the Dark Order's, usually featured. Lethal and Singh really aren't. They made it a very big deal that this was Singh's Ring of Honor debut. They made a big deal about it on socials and throughout the match. And I want to see more of this team, especially if it looks like Jarrett's taking more of like a backstage role and not really wrestling as much. I would. Oh, I see that makes you very happy. So if they're going to do that, I would rather see Lethal, who is a Ring of Honor veteran, who again, they said it multiple times on commentary that Lethal legit is like the backbone of Ring of Honor and it's been like that for years, that he like teaches Singh. And Sanjay Dunn in the mix throughout the match, he was just like, this is light work, this is light work. So maybe they are going after the Undisputed Kingdom, but we also have 2.0 in the mix and all these other teams, so I don't really know where we're going from there, but I like this. This was a better than I expected.
My concern, Kimmy, is right with you with what you were saying. Is like now the Dark Order and 2.0 are just in the mix, and it's, to me, Anthony Henry's cleared soon. What about the Workhorsemen? What about the infantry? What about I guess
the Outrunner?
Bronson, Boulder, and Jack Jameson are a trio, but like they switch that up every other day. The Mogul Embassy, like the teams that we've been seeing around, they just threw 2.0 back together just for funsies for this Canada run, it feels like. And now they were like, oh yeah, we have the Dark Order kicking around. Like, just build people up with wins and have. I can't imagine how frustrating it must be to be a talent that just doesn't matter what you do. Like, you're not going to get rewarded with a tag shot, it doesn't feel like. So, some frustration there.
It was also interesting because like when they were promoting Anna Jay's match, they were talking about like, oh, Anna Jay's trying to climb up the rankings. And I'm like, what rankings? We don't have rankings.
No, like, I wish we did. I wish we did in ROH more than anything because 1, there would be clarity around divisions. 2, that would mean there was a pure division. And 3, that's what this brand was built on. Like my frustrations with ROH so often are just like losing things that feel like the identity of ROH, and losing the pure division is one that just like breaks my heart because there isn't one. Like Wheeler Yuta hasn't been around, so therefore there is no division and he's out. So, and we don't know how long, and they, for whatever reason, won't vacate the title with him. So, I don't know why. It's not like there's going to be a massive payoff when he comes back with it. Like it certainly doesn't feel that way. He hasn't been getting any wins. So that part of it's very frustrating. That part
they mentioned him at least tonight. His action figure.
You can pick up a little mini Wheeler Yuta. You can have pure matches with an action figure, which I think is great. I hope he gets better. I hope he's okay. Concussions are terrifying. Like, that is a brain injury. I'm a big advocate of we should stop saying things like got his bell rung, because what that means is your brain is sloshing around in your head. Like, that is not something that should be taken lightly. So I'm very glad it's taken extremely seriously. I'm glad that wrestling in general takes concussions way more seriously than they used to with everything that we know and have learned. But it's affecting this program, right? And we got champions tonight, but man, on a show where there's rarely champions, and it would be really nice to have something that is a stipulation championship around, because it would make things feel fresh, I think. But we go backstage to the Iron Savages for this promo, and man, it just isn't hitting for me yet with this renewed approach that sounds like it's trying to be a blend, right? They say that they're 3 of the biggest and baddest athletes in Ring of Honor. And they keep getting passed by. They're massive. They are peak male performance, all these things. There's nothing to joke about. They're going to start working for themselves, sipping sauce, living hoss, and taking everyone to Titty City. I don't know if it's supposed to be like an ironic thing, like, but it's not working for me. Like, this just, we're super serious, so we're gonna talk about sipping sauce and Titty City and stuff. Like, it doesn't work. They desperately need to get to the ring and kick some ass, and I wish they would just go back to who the Iron Savages were when they were Bear Country, to be honest, or closer to that, because they are absolute maniacs in the ring with what they're able to do. I feel like this fun stuff is fun. This trying to blend thing hasn't gotten there for me yet. I think I get what they're heading toward, but it just not there for me. Not there for me in this. It feels like it's all over the place, to be perfectly honest. But what did you think of our little promo back here? We didn't get a lot of promos tonight, but we did get this.
I was very happy with. I was scared we were going to get another Jacoby Watts Nick Camarado promo, and that stuff doesn't make sense. And I'm
No.
like, please get that off my TV. And luckily, they did. So I was okay
We
with us
listened.
replacing this with, But I just get scared because I feel like they're so good in the ring. They proved that with Bear Country. They proved that with when they were originally faces. And the
Yes.
more you keep changing your character, you're kind of like taking away from that. And I feel like no one's really going to take them seriously. I feel like they're great contenders if our trios champs decide to make an appearance in the brand. But since it looks like they're not going to do that, I could just hope and pray. But I don't know. I don't like that. There's a reason they got over in the first place is because they were taunting and doing all that fun stuff. And this is why I was confused. They were heels. Anytime they like teamed with another team, it was a heel team. So did you just turn like worse, not even worse heel, but like more heel?
Yeah, I
Is that a
don't
thing?
know. Man, because they were doing that angle where they were like giving Dalton sauce and he's super face. So I don't know. Like this is part of the problem when you have a tag team sometimes and a trio sometimes and they're heels sometimes and they're doing stuff with faces other times. Like that's not on them, right? That's what's very frustrating. And I feel like if they would just let them work, they would probably get pretty over because they do some really, really impressive stuff in there. So I'm with you. Like I think they kind of ran the course on the sip and sauce stuff and they needed another layer there really bad because it started to feel pretty one note, especially because this promotion is not backing things up with wins and losses. So who cares? But it felt like it was the same thing every time. So I'm glad that they're adding dimension to it. I just don't think that they found the language to add some depth to it. Like when you look at other entertaining characters, it's like I'm a badass in the ring and I'm entertaining, right? Like that's what I always love about Starks when he's allowed to wrestle. It's like I have all of it, including the wrestling aspect, right? So meet Normus. Asking are the Iron Savages the mouse rats of ROH? What a reference. Very, very well played. I think it's pretty spot on. Bye little Sebastian with that. You know what I mean?
That was such a good. That's like the song of the series. Like
better than 10,000 candles in the wind. Just
yes.
5,000? I don't know. It was thousands of candles.
I think it was 5.
I think it was 5,000 candles in the wind. Yeah. But my goodness. Yeah, I'm with you. Any other thoughts on Bear Country Savages ironness?
Can we please differ if Jack Jameson's going to be the manager or a wrestler?
I would love to know if they were a trio or a tag team. That would be very refreshing.
Because I feel like one week he's the manager, another week he's with them, and I'm like, make up your mind.
Pick a lane. Pick a lane, creative. This is when I say I need roster clarity, I mean not only from who's in ROH and who's in AEW, but what are you here as? And ROH is terrible with that right now. I have no idea what Top Flight is. Are you an AEW tag team or are you an ROH trio? Like, I have no idea. I have no idea what Action Andretti's doing. Sometimes he's a singles guy drinking water. Sometimes he's in a trio. Like, pick a freaking lane.
And why didn't Dante wrestle with Darius tonight? He's healthy.
I don't know. We are going to get there and we are going to talk about more of ROH, but get in those super chats. I'm not going to say your name, but it pops me every time saying, hey, Kate, babe. Well, thank you. Thank you for all the puns that you bring to the chat. But get in those super chats to guarantee your question or statement read on air. And please leave a thumbs up. There's much more of you watching now than at the beginning of the show, which we always appreciate. Thanks so much. So we move on to Anna Jay versus Tara Zepp. Now, Tara Zepp is someone I was not so familiar with, but from what I learned, she has a bit of a deathmatch history, which I thought was cool. And I liked this match. I liked that Anna Jay gets her 4th win here with the sleeper, and she spent much of this match targeting the neck. So going for the sleeper after targeting the neck makes a lot of sense. What did you think of this?
So I like that commentary very much played into Anna Jay's getting her reps. and kept saying that and kept like really breaking down her match. I tweeted this a couple weeks ago that I feel like by the end of 2024, no matter if it's a Ring of Honor championship or an AEW championship, she will be champion by December 31st, 2024. And I didn't even tag her. And she was the first one to like my tweet. So
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if she was
little
she was trying to,
foreshadowing there from Miss Kimmy. We love to see that.
I was like, girl, I was like gonna go to her at WrestleCon and be like, girl, were you trying to tell me something? Cause
Yeah.
it'll be our secret, I promise.
Let us know.
But I think this was the right step for Anna because although she was getting a lot of exposure on Dynamite, you could kind of tell that she just needs more reps to just kind of understand it and get it, and that's what she's doing in Ring of Honor. She's a very dominant force in the division. I have a feeling she's going to go after the TV championship at some point when Billy decides to show up. But yeah, this was fine.
Well, it does seem we're definitely getting platoon weeks right now because we had Billy last week, we had Athena this week. People that cut promos last week had matches this week. Like you can see the cadence they're getting into. It's actually very black and gold. NXT used to function almost with the same template with more cohesion, but to that same effect, it was like 3 promos last week resulted in 3 of the matches this week, and then you are starting to see those things kind of fall in line. Anna is someone in particular, and I think everyone is this way, but someone as young as her, and just in general, everybody does better when they have consistent reps. She's someone that I notice that a lot with. Like if she has consistent reps, she is so much more comfortable. And I like that she's also getting some more grasp around psychology. Like I feel like today targeting the neck a bunch and locking in the dragon sleeper, like that all makes sense. So where before I thought she was stringing together moves and doing a good job, like now it feels like she's kind of upped that to the next level. I felt like she never really had a chance to organically turn heel, so I really like this for her. It kind of just felt like you're with the Jericho Appreciation Society, so now you're me. Like you are just a different person than you were when you were getting Anna, on BTE, and you were a face and everybody loved you, like all these things, right? So I'm glad she now has the room to explore who she's gonna be in wrestling right now. And Terry Zepp was there to serve a role, but she has a really cool look to her and a really cool demeanor. I look forward to finding out more about her because I always try and like look up the people that get put on my screen. That's one of the benefits of ROH being alive and kicking. So some good stuff. And I agree with you too, Kimmy, that I like the story that we have here, and that the story is Anna's picking up wins. Like she's just coming here to be a big deal. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, it's more of a character arc than a story, I should say. But it feels very endemic to ROH to have my character arc is that I'm winning right now, and then I will challenge for a title at some point, right? Like I find that approach refreshing, especially when we do have other stories in this division all over the place. So I will take it. I will take it.
And I'm excited too because her match against Tony a couple weeks ago was really good, and she's wrestling Serena Deeb this weekend on Collision. And I'm like, all right, I can see this now. This is gonna be a viable match. She's gonna like she's gonna lose, obviously, but I feel like it's gonna be a lot better than a lot of people think it's gonna be.
I think so too. And she started kind of when she was starting to work like a couple of the Joshi women that have come over, and it feels like she does better when she's in there with someone who's gonna hit really hard, to be honest. Like I don't know if it's just she's less tentative or whatever, but she definitely comes across as a little bit more badass when she's in there with someone who I don't want to say like works stiff, but you can tell is hitting harder, and not shying away from getting their offense in. We're flying through this episode of Ring of Honor, so we're gonna have some BSing on the back end of this, but we have 3 more matches to talk about. We did have those 3 proving ground matches tonight, but if there's anything you want to ask about ROH in general about tonight's episode, feel free to. We got the news today that there's going to be a residency, which was released by AEW and covered by Fightful, about their setting up shop for like a month in Dallas, which I think is going to be interesting. I think that'll be interesting at an esports arena, which is pretty cool. But we move on here to Skye Blue and Rachael Ellering. And I really liked a lot of what we got out of this match. And it's not It has one of my sequences that is usually my least favorite, but it was not my least favorite tonight, and I'll explain why. You have Ellering taking the loss. She leaves herself open for like a monster kick in the code blue. And it seemed to me like a lot of this was the mental chess of it all. Like it was going to be a who makes the first error kind of thing. And I liked what we got out of both women. I am not a fan in general of the trading roll up, trading roll up, trading roll up, trading roll up spot because it usually just looks like they're trading roll ups. If it's done properly, what happens is you are quickly capitalizing on the leverage that your partner gives you when they fail to roll you up, and you find a different angle and way to adjust their body weight. And these ones were done really well. At least that's how it was explained to me. So I appreciated that it looked like it wasn't just like a little like wheel of them just going around in these pins, right? I really appreciated that it looked like they were trying to capitalize every time that they did it instead of just like so choreographed as that spot can look quite often. We don't get Maria tonight, which was kind of a bummer to me, but I'm sure we'll get her next week because that's how it goes. It was kind of weird that her husband was there tonight and that she wasn't. Maybe she's with her other boys. Maybe she's at home with her actual children. I don't know. But, Cole Carter also not on the show with Griff Garrison, so maybe she's doing managerial efforts with them this week. I'm not sure, but I really liked this, and I like what Rachael Ellering is bringing to the table. She's someone who has really grown to look more and more comfortable. The relationship with Layla seems to have kind of petered out, but I think that's because of what we're getting with Maria. What did you think of this match and where both of these ladies are kind of going?
So when I saw that they were airing it after the news we got last week, I was really scared. I was really nervous. I was like, "Oh my
Me
god."
too. They did a
And then I
good
was
job editing
yeah.
this because this was the match where Skye was getting harassed, and all of them, it sounds like, were getting harassed. So they did a really good job because you would not have known.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh my god, please, please, please." And I was like, "Oh, thank God." I get to see her Sunday, so I'm gonna make sure she's A-okay, guys. But
Hey, yeah.
but I'm I have mixed feelings about Skye going down to Ring of Honor because she was so used when Julia was TBS champion, and now it seems I
Yes.
have nothing for her. So what do we do when we have nothing for anybody? We bring them to Ring of Honor, which sucks. But she always makes the most out of every opportunity she is given. That is why so many people on the roster love working with her, because no matter if she's going to job to somebody or put someone over or win, she always makes sure that she is giving 110%. And no matter what happened, she did that in this match. I love that Ellering's in Ring of Honor. I said it from the beginning. She's such a vital tool to help so many of the women grow. I think she's going to be another one that I don't think she's going to be champ, but she's going to be someone that pops out this year in Ring of Honor. But I like this match. It was one of the longer matches on the show, which is always amazing because all of the matches were under 10 minutes. But amazing job by all.
Ring of Ellering.
Oh, I love
L
that.
Ring of Honor. There's spots for this all over.
That's a
Marketing
shirt.
genius. It is a shirt. I'm on it. I'm on it. I agree with you. So I actually don't have a problem with while Julia's out, Skye Blue coming back here because she did have a title defense or a title challenge against Athena. Like she did a lot of work on Ring of Honor before. So if she wants to come back, I feel like there's at least some things to play off of. But you're right in that it just feels like, hey, you're a Collision leftover. Go out there for this Ring of Honor taping for a match. Like there isn't really a story there, but there is one for Rachael. So I'm okay with that. Like not everything has to be so in depth, but Skye Blue, definitely one of the most improved wrestlers. Every time she's out there, she's put in a ton of work. She had a ton of reps. So very happy to see her improvements continuing to pay off. And you see, it's kind of fun when you see wrestlers put things together like in layers. I feel like I see that a lot in NXT too, where you're like, okay, their selling is better, or their ring psychology is better, or they've more fluidly put sequences together instead of disjointed offense. Like I always appreciate seeing that growth, and I feel like we got to see that all come together with Skye Blue, and she's kicking ass, man. It's good stuff to see. But as we alluded to earlier, Action Andretti and Darius Martin versus John Cruz and Levi Knights. I don't get it. I don't understand why these matches are happening the way that they are, but Andretti and Martin double team Knight with some high kicks, and they just get the pin and they pick up the win. Like, this isn't for anything. I don't know if these guys are a trio or if they're a tag team. We don't have stakes to this match. John Cruz continues to show his value in, one, how different he is from Serpentico. It's just nice to have that kind of diversity on the roster. But two, he's so veteran in the way that he makes other people look smart and good in the ring. Like, he really continues to just give so much to these young kids who are working with them. And these two didn't need a whole bunch of help. Action Andretti feels so lost to me. Like, he had the huge win against Chris Jericho, and then like he was Hydration Andretti, and I don't know what this team is. I don't know what this trio is. I don't know what they're doing here. They're people that should be looking at those titles if they're going to be working here, right? Like, part of my frustration with the Proving Ground matches is that there is nobody in the back that's having them. It's not the people who are actually eyeing the titles. It's always some random indie person. No offense to the workers who come in here. A lot of them are quite great. We're going to talk about Nicole Matthews, who was unbelievable tonight in a couple minutes. But like, the people who want Proving Ground matches should be people who legitimately are looking for title shots, not random guy off the street who threw on some gear. He came in here. This kind of reeked of that. This was not a Proving Ground match by any means, but it did just kind of feel like, here is a tag match for you to watch. That's it. Like not a ton else here. An entertaining one. Like, all four of these guys are really good, but there's just not a lot for me to give insight on when that's the case, to be honest.
So, first of all, this felt like the longest match on the episode. And I was like, why is this? Why? London Lightning has been featured over the last couple weeks. Like, we've seen him a lot.
He's good. He's really good.
So I'm like, is he signed but not signed? But maybe signed?
Maybe an appearance deal? I don't know. Maybe they use reliable people for the loops. Like, I genuinely don't know.
So that's something I'm keeping in the back of my head. Like, okay, maybe that's why we keep seeing him. But I just don't know anymore. I just hope. We're losing hope because you're right. All these matches are against indie people when you have a whole roster. If you go to the AEW roster website, Ring of Honor has their own roster with about like 40 to 50 people on it who are supposed to be on Ring of Honor every week. And when Dante was hurt, I kept saying this, that like when Top Flight reunites, Action's going to be lost because they have nothing for him. And here we are months later. Like, I would not mind if at Death Before Dishonor he wrestles Mark Briscoe, to be honest. And somehow I don't know how we get there, but like we get
that's
there.
The thing. We have to get there, but we should. It keeps going back to this extremely fixable problem of who's in what divisions on what show. Like, that should not be a difficult thing for me and you who cover this product every week to be able to tell you. I should be able to tell you that. It changes week over week. It's unbelievable how simple it is to fix. And they just don't. They continue to not. But me, Norma saying, I like my wrestling like I like my fajitas with steaks. Look, I'm vegan, but I like my wrestling with steaks too. No ground proven tonight, but challengers showed out. 3 out of 5 pork chops in the Tokyo Dome. I feel like in the Tokyo Dome, we should be at like 6. We should be at like 6 out of 5 pork chops. But yes, that is nothing to say of the challengers. Some really, really formidable people in those Proving Ground matches. But it's never a work rate issue with Ring of Honor, right? Like, it's always world-class wrestling. That's never the problem. It's the planning and the creative around it.
Listen, I know Tony Khan's at home, and I know that like he's having other people write AEW storyline wise. So why can't he have me and you just write Ring of Honor?
Well, I do think that they have their own dedicated producers, but that only goes so far when there are very specific people that have the sign-offs, right? At the end of the day. Like, that's why I think That's why the pay-per-views always have so much gas in them, because they're like, oh, we have a pay-per-view coming up. Sheeta's not doing anything. Go down there. Like, and that's it. Like, that's the extent of it. Whereas opposed to the weekly television, all the people that we're trying to build into these situations just don't. And right now, the men's singles division, I don't even like know who's in it. Like, it feels so lost. Mark Briscoe hasn't been around. I'm sure he'd be willing to cut a promo from home with his new baby. Like, that's the most babyface shit you can possibly do in the world. Kyle Fletcher just keeps winning matches in ROH and taking pins in AEW. Like, this men's roster is so lost, and it's not their fault. It's not the people that are there. It's just random luchador 4-pack and whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it really, really doesn't feel like they're building anybody, because they're not really building anybody with consistent wins. But we do get a World Tag Team Champion Proving Ground match with London Lightning and Jason Geiger. You mentioned London Lightning making some frequent appearances. Definitely a standout here. Commentary doing an excellent job putting him over as well. I really like Jason Geiger too. I love the way him and Bennett played into each other a lot. Like, you could tell Geiger has like this MMA background, this amateur background, but Mike Bennett is like, that's cute. I'm just gonna beat the crap out of you. And I appreciate that, because it feels like Mike Bennett had him scouted in a lot of ways. It was just a step ahead a lot in this match. They get the win, the champions do here, with the Rockstar Supernova, as they do. But London Lightning and Jason Geiger, a fun team. And some really, really good tag work in this match. Just an inevitable ending, which always kind of takes it down a notch for me. But what did you think?
I will give Taven and Bennett credit, because I felt like on Twitter we all kind of just trashed that they were appearing on AEW, and now they're always on Ring of Honor every single week. It is like someone listened to us, and I love that. And I give them credit, because they're another team who has been like vital in Ring of Honor even before Tony Khan had bought Ring of Honor. They are trying to prove that they're one of the best Ring of Honor tag team champs, which is why I love that they're showing up every week. But you have a whole roster filled with people that are fighting for these titles, and they're nowhere. Like, why didn't 2.0 beat down Taven and Bennett after the match ended?
You got me, girl. You got me. And I do appreciate that we have our tag champions that are around. And I don't like sounding negative for the sake of sounding negative, but it isn't lost on me that this company was not good at women's booking until the past 6 months to a year from now. And that ROH is a very women-centric brand, and that's awesome. But it does feel like ROH has been the dumping ground for things that they don't really care about. And so it feels like the women persevered through it, because Athena's amazing and the workers are great. But it does feel like kind of compensatory when it's the sub-brand that has all this women's wrestling. The main roster caught up, but I kind of feel that way about a lot of the stuff we're seeing. It was like, oh, randomly, oh, we have best friends here and they weren't used on Collision. Throw them out for that. Undisputed Kingdom feels dead in the water to me, to be honest. Like, this whole angle has not worked. Wardlow, I don't know what they're doing with him. Cole is unfortunately injured. He shows up to cut a great promo and then disappears every once in a while. And they've just been getting no real reaction. They're getting them more now because they're showing up more consistently, but they weren't getting them on the main roster. They didn't get them at the last pay-per-view. And it just feels like they get tossed aside into this. Now, they're not my favorite tag team in the world. Like, Matt Taven has just never been the most for me. I haven't seen the thing that makes him special that other people see in him, and that's fine. Like, that's, everybody has different tastes. There's nothing that I can say that he does bad. Like, it's certainly from a taste perspective and not an objective wrestling opinion perspective. There's a lot of things I think Mike Bennett does very, very right that I warm up to, with the way that he tells stories and approaches matches. But I do feel like this has been like the little discarded brand over here. And it breaks my heart to see the wrestlers putting so much into it and feeling like the rest of that love is not reciprocated nearly as much elsewhere. But I feel like the Undisputed Kingdom started showing up on ROH when they lost momentum on the main roster. And it was like, go over there, go to daycare. Like we don't care about you right now, kind of thing. Like, hate to be negative about it like that, and that may come across as more harsh than it's intended to, but it just feels that way. It just feels that way to me.
I agree with you with the whole Undisputed Kingdom, like the faction itself, because I feel like Adam Cole's injury on top of MJF's injury stopped a lot of the things that were supposed to happen, and I feel
certainly
like
the case
with Roddy being champ and Undisputed and like, you know, Bennett and Taven being champ, it gives them something to do. But like you said, someone for Wardlow who's kind of just swimming around, not really doing anything. You had Cole kind of stare him off a couple weeks ago, but we haven't seen either of them since then. Maybe like Cole captured Wardlow and we don't know.
That could be. He just like kidnapped him a little bit. Not mad about that angle because like he's literally the devil, right? But I love the way Adam Cole tells stories with that kind of stuff, so I was really happy to see that. It feels like that's an inevitable feud, and it feels like we're waiting for MJF to come back, honestly. Like, it feels like Wardlow MJF is sitting right there. It also feels like they don't know if they want him to be face or heel, to me. Like, Wardlow gets these reactions, I feel like, that people are happy to see him again, and so it feels face-ish, but this is very much a heel stable, but he's kind of peripheral to the heel stable, so he cut a promo the last time he was on, like, a couple weeks ago, and I was like, that feels more babyface-ish to me, so we'll see, but yeah, it's a bummer because it felt like the story took like a year to complete, and then it feels like by the time we finally got here, everyone was like, the wind was out of the sails on it. Like everyone's just kind of bored by it, but we move on. We move on to our main event, which we are going to have to talk about for 19 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. We'll talk about it. And then if you guys want to get in super chats, we can talk. We'll just do some general Q&A. We'll talk about where we feel like ROH and AEW kind of are as a whole right now. But we get a very, very fun main event with Nicole and Athena. Athena and Nicole, whose last name was apparently like left off the graphic or whatever, but it was absolutely hilarious to me. Nicole Matthews, a standout talent from Canada, like really, really impressive. I put it over before too. She did an interview with Joel right after a match, and she was like, I'm tired. And she made Joel sit on the ground with her to do this match. Like, she has so much personality and so much great wrestling work all packed into the same package. What a fun presence to have on any show. She's someone who can come out in a match like this and make herself stand out, or you can give her a full program and she'll carry it and do an excellent job. I have only wonderful things to say about what I've seen of Nicole Matthews, but she's here in this Proving Ground match. You guys know how it goes, but some really fun stuff in here. My favorite part was where Athena had her in that abdominal stretch, but she rolled through and almost got the win. That near fall actually like grabbed me a little bit. I thought that was super, super clever, but we have Athena back off the top rope for the win. It's been a while since she had to resort to that, I feel like, to get a W, but this was one where I was like, they should have let Nicole Matthews last the time limit, because that would be a really fun defense. It would be really fun to bring her in for a program. She could do it and she could stick around, or she could go away again. Like that was if you're going to have someone from the indies be the one to do it, she should have been the one to do it. And I'm bummed, but knew that was going to be the case. But really, really fun main event. Athena, nice to see her back in action. Can't wait to see the kind of reception she gets in Dallas. I hope they're having her work face in Dallas, because I don't think they're going to have much of a choice with that. But really, really fun stuff here. Can't say enough about Nicole Matthews, more than I already said. But I just think the world of her, and think that in one very minimal match here, she did a really great job. What did you think of our main event tonight?
So I like that Nicole literally before the bell started, like standing ovation. Everyone loved her. Now compared to a lot of the other Proving Grounds matches Athena has had, this is one of the longer ones. And I feel like they should try to play into that, because when she first started doing them every week, it was like less than 5 minutes and they made such a big deal about it. And this one, according to our friend Sam, almost lasted 7.5 minutes, which is almost the full 10. We didn't get there, but we were very close. So I feel like that's something to play in with. I think Athena is the staple of this company. She proves it every week. That's why she was the main event. And Aminata.
Coming in with the save at the end, yes.
And then she was eyeing that title, and commentary's like, is that a foreshadow? So I'm wondering if that's the match we get at Death Before Dishonor, if we get Aminata and Athena. Because, I'm ready.
Yeah, no, I think the world is ready for that one. I think that could be a whole heck of a lot of fun stylistically. Not my place to talk about like black girl magic, but black girl magic, right? Like I not my place to talk about what the representation means, but I have eyes and I know how amazing both of these women are and what that could and should mean, right? So really, really, really kind of salivating for that match. Also interested to see how Red Velvet plays into that because they've been kind of palling around there, right? And this was Queen Aminata coming out to make the save for Nicole Matthews, so that's very cool. I would love to see that as a pay-per-view match, but I also feel like you don't want Queen Aminata losing, but I don't think they're taking this title off of Athena until these negotiations are done. And I think that's a bad idea, to be clear. Like I think they're in danger of this reign going stale because what more is there left for this woman to do? She's like 51-0. Okay,
52
like
as of tonight.
52 now. Okay, yeah. So this was her 52nd win. So there you go. I really feel like you have to have the room in the story to bring her up to the main roster. So I understand that. You cannot take all of this credibility and throw it out the window with like, that was a fun Serena Deeb match and then nothing for her, right? You have to have the space for something like that. But it also feels like she's been the one carrying this brand and they're in a rights renewal year. Like if they're shopping this for TV or if they're going to make Honor Club a part of Max, they're going to want her value specifically. And she's the one that is the attraction of this promotion. And part of that is really freaking cool because we have never had ROH be a women-centric brand. And I appreciate that so much. But it also feels like even if she's going to be our ROH champion, can you let her out for more than one like battle of the belts per year or one random Forbidden Door appearance? Like, can you put her on additional programs to get the eyes on her that she deserves because she deserves it. She's deserved it for a while now. So I'm nervous about the rest of this reign. I think it's good that they've spaced the defenses apart and her reps apart because she is special. So let them be less frequent and more impactful when you now do have a mid-card title that can be defended more regularly, which I think is what we will see from Billie Starkz. But yeah, Queen Aminata is a money match. Very much looking forward to that. Meet Norris. Sup, Kimmy? How are you? I am well. Can you sing or do impressions? We have group therapy on Tuesdays and also review NXT Meet Forever. Well, Kimmy made her Fightful debut one week when Alex was out. We didn't subject her to singing and impressions, but if she sticks around more, we'll get her there. We'll get her there. But how are you, Kimmy? Meet Norris asked how you were doing.
I'm doing great. It's convention week, so I've been in hell.
We'll talk about convention week and everything that you have going on because we've got some time here to chat.
So Wrestle Show is this week. It's in New Jersey. It's 2 days. So Saturday is kind of like everyone's there, and then Sunday is strictly AEW day. But like, there's other people going to be there, so I don't know why we're just calling it AEW day. I'm working with Kyle Fletcher. So that's why I did my nails for the Ring of Honor colors, because like the promoter, it's Queen Aminata. He's bringing Queen Aminata, Kyle Fletcher, Layla Hirsch, and IR Fox, all people who are on Ring of Honor. As ping pong balls just fell all over this room.
Where in New Jersey is it?
It's in Middletown, New Jersey. It's called Wrestle Show, New Jersey. I could send you the info.
Please do.
Like.
Because
awesome.
That's not all that far from me. Not all that far from me. Maybe I'll pop down and check it out. But that's very fun. You standing next to Kyle Fletcher is a visual I need because that dude is way bigger than you think he is. And you are tinier than you, I don't want to say appear, but then your presence suggests because you have I mean this in a very complimentary way, you have a command about you because you have to tell people what to do at conventions and people who are bigger and meaner and louder than you, and you got to make them fall in line. So you have some spunk to you, and I appreciate that. But you versus next to Kyle Fletcher is gonna be like it's gonna be like John Silver and Satnam Singh. I feel like you could do the flexing back at him. I love that for you.
So Sean can attest to this, that when we were in Indiana for Squared Circle Expo, I was supposed to retrieve Lita, and I ran halfway across the room because I didn't know where she was. And Sean was like walking, and he's like, "Where are you running to?" And I'm like, "I don't know where my talent is. I have to find my talent." So now I found her in a stairwell, in a secret stairwell, and now I have to be like, "Move out of my way. I have a talent." And Lita is screaming, "Listen to the little one! Listen to the little one!" I was like, "Thanks."
It's true. It's true. You have like mosh pit syndrome. You got to cut through all the people. Cut through all the people. I love it.
Well, that's what I did to Sean at WrestleCon. When I was his security guard for an hour, I had to like push. I'm like, I have like talent. Sean Ross Sapp, everyone move.
I don't know if I would want to be that guy's security. He can cause some trouble. I've heard he can cause some issues. He can start to scrap with some people, but to each their own. To each their own. If you want to be Sean Ross Sapp security, that's fine by me. But I am skirting away from that guy with the most dangerous drop toe hold in the game. But Kimmy, we've got like you did survive, but he likes you better than me. I think
that is not true.
It might be true. It might be true. It might be true.
To ask him.
I like you better than me. That's not even a slight at me. You're just very likable. You're just very magnetic.
Well, thank you.
There you go.
I appreciate
your ROH nails over there. Appreciate you.
Well, I'm going to Aruba like after like in 2 weeks. So I had to.
Why are we talking about wrestling? Tell us about Aruba. You're going to Aruba
for 5 days on a non-wrestling vacation. This is very weird. It's like my one time a year. I don't do anything wrestling for 5 days, and I'm gonna go on a beach.
Need one.
And drink and gamble.
One. Hell yeah! I need one desperately because the last vacation I took was the Jericho Cruise, and then the last vacation I took before that was the Jericho Cruise, and it's a very fun experience. I need to not have wrestling in front of my eyeballs for like a solid week at some point in my life. But
I've loved the Jericho Cruise. I had a great time.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. But like, I can't remember a vacation that wasn't around wrestling in like 4 years, which is not healthy. Like that is not good. Part of it was a pandemic, and part of it, part of the times I would get away, like I went to Colorado for 4 or 5 days, but it's because I was speaking at Podcast Movement, so it's like I always build them around work things that I need to like actually disconnect, because I don't want to. God bless him. I don't want to be under Jericho's learning tree. You know what I mean? I don't want to be in an appreciation society. I got to get away. But
I agree with you. I hope for Jericho Cruise 6 that I don't get sucked into the learning tree. I'm going to be like really scared. I'm going to be like, if I don't make eye contact, I'll be okay.
Big Bill is just going to pick you up.
So I have a picture, I'll tweet it after, with him and I from WrestleCon Dallas. I had to stand on a chair, and me and him are like facing off. And I'm like looking to punch him.
I like it.
Because that man is 7 feet tall, and I'm 5'1.5". So
you're 5'1.5".
That counts. That half inch counts for something.
It does. You clear the 5 foot mark with that half inch. That makes sense because I'm 5'7.5", and I felt about half a foot taller than you. But I met you in person.
That's why I hate when I work with wrestlers.
This is my problem. See, this is my exact issue. I really want to go to Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh.
But like I'm like, I need to not take a wrestling vacation. But I feel like if I went to Japan and went to Wrestle Kingdom, that's still like 12 days of not wrestling. Like I would hang out there for a while. Idols are playing in the time that I would be over there, which is like one of my favorite bands. I would go crazy for it. So I feel like I could do, like if I go to wrestling but also stay for a while and go to like the Capybara Zoo, where you can like hang out with the capybaras, I feel like then I've cheated the system.
I mean, Japan's also different. Like that's like a whole sightseeing place to go to.
Yeah, that's what I'm not going for the G1. Like I wouldn't be going every day. I would just be going to Wrestle Kingdom and then staying. So that's my hope. Any fun plans for Aruba?
Not that I know of. It's most so the last time I went to Aruba. Yeah, I'm going to the beach. But the last time I went to Aruba, I got 3rd-degree burns all over my body because I thought I was better than sunscreen, and I wasn't.
You were like, I got 3rd-degree burns. Let me go back. You're a maniac.
Listen, my parents were like, "Do you want to go?" And I was like,
Hell
"Sure."
yeah, I want to go.
So
Is it
hopefully
an
I learned my lesson.
all-inclusive situation?
So we're staying at the Marriott where we stayed the last time, and I know there's a
Okay.
beach on the property, and in Aruba too, like a lot of the places you could just like walk to. It's very safe. We went in 2021 where there were still some restrictions, like the curfew was at 9 o'clock, which sucked because you couldn't do anything. But now
Yeah.
we could do things at night, and now
Hell
like the
yeah.
legal age back then was 18. It still is 18. I don't know why I said back then. But like I remember showing my ID to like the casino and they thought it was a fake. They're like, "No, you're not 18." I'm like, "Yes, I am." So now I'm 22. So hopefully they believe me.
I hope so. I hope so. My goodness. Well, that sounds fun. Can I go with you?
Sure.
Okay,
We,
cool.
we leave the day after Memorial Day. So we leave May 28th, I think, 7th, whatever that Tuesday is.
You sent me the wrestling details for this weekend. You sent me Wrestle Show.
I did.
If you could just send me your parents' credit card information so I could also go, that would be excellent. And
I got you. I mean, I didn't book the
Girl
flight.
trip.
My dad booked the flight technically, so
Excellent.
I'll
just add one on. Girl trip.
I mean,
Girl
I
trip.
don't have a sibling. I'm an only child, so I mean,
Go weasel my way in there. My birthday was this week. I deserve it. I feel like I get to go on a free vacation with you. That's what I'm saying. So
we could do the Ring of Honor post show from Aruba.
perfect. Perfect. We'll like have little umbrella drinks outside and be like, I don't understand why there's no champions around or whatever. That'll be us. That'll be us next week.
The beach will be in the background.
Yeah, just a gorgeous backdrop. My God. My God. Let's close out by talking about some wrestling before Joel and Cresta join us here. What do you want to see from Ring of Honor other than the things that we always talk about, of like more champions and stuff? Like, are you enjoying the closer to an hour format? I like it, and I would like for that to replace Rampage, to be quite frank. I feel like that would be a really, really good programming switch. What are you thinking about with ROH in the future?
I like the 1 hour because I feel like you get everything in an hour. It doesn't feel rushed and it doesn't feel like it's dragging either. Like some episodes did before they did an hour, and it was like an hour and a half, 2 hours. We always joke about the 19 match card that blowing our brains out.
That broke me. That broke me.
Well, you survived.
I did. Barely, but we made it.
But I think too, I always kind of say that if you're ever going to do like an all-woman show, I think you could get away with it being Ring of Honor. And I would not mind if somehow in the future an all-women's Ring of Honor pay-per-view happens.
Ooh, I like that. I would like that, and it has a couple people from the main roster, and it has a couple people from other promotions. I think that could be really fun.
Yeah,
Kimmy,
I mean, yes.
Do you want to play Mad Libs?
Oh, sure. Oh, I'm so scared. I feel like
You're
I need
so
like
scared?
I mean, I'm not. So if you've ever read my articles, I have like a 8th grade vocabulary level. Like I have
That's
a really low vocabulary.
You've got this. I've made other guests play it before, but yeah, this is pretty basic stuff. I need a noun.
A person placer. That's a person placer thing.
Yes,
passed
it is.
Grammar. Disney World.
Ooh, okay. You're already off to a better start than you know. That's actually hilarious. An adjective is a descriptive word that does not end in ly.
Running.
That's a verb.
What? I hate it here.
That's an action word. A descriptive word is like a color or a flavor.
Guys, I just got canceled because I'm a writer and didn't know what an adjective was. Wait, it's a color? A color could be an adjective? What?
A color? Yeah, it's a descriptive word. A descriptive word.
Purple.
Okay.
Purple works. I'm not showing this clip to Bill. Oh my god, he's gonna be like, what have I taught you?
Absolutely sending it to him. I need another noun, a person, place, or thing.
This is so difficult.
It's way harder than it looks. Like when you're on the spot on air, it's tricky.
Can we do the Tokyo Dome since we were talking about
Yes, we can. I adore you. The Tokyo Dome. A plural noun.
Oh God, plural noun.
Yes.
Why is this so hard? Dude, other people should
It's so hard. No, it's tough. The only person to ever nail it was Cresta.
Of course.
Because she was like, fishes, wishes, bitches. I did 3 plural nouns in a row, and she was like, I got you.
Ooh, so let's do bitches. I'll steal from her.
Okay. You can steal from the Cresta playbook. I respect that.
I love
a
that
verb ending in ing. Do you want to do running since you suggested it before?
Yes.
Okay, so you got a free pass on that one. We need another plural noun.
Oh God.
It's so hard. It's so much pressure for no reason. It's really funny.
I feel like this isn't gonna make sense. Like when you're reading it back to me,
That's
I'm
the
gonna
point.
be like, what did I just say? Plural noun. Wishes. I'll just steal everything from Cresta.
I respect it. And then a singular noun.
Let's see. Let's do a person. We'll do Bryan Danielson. We'll do a person.
Oh, okay. We won't tell Nigel.
Oh yes. Or his magic show.
Or his magic show, which was the coolest thing in the whole wide world. A plural noun again.
Oh my God! Stop with the plural noun.
It's the easiest one in the world. It's just a thing, or a person, or a place. You can pick anything in the room with you right now.
There's like nothing in this room. There's a flag. There's a Briscoe's flag, but like I feel like that'd be so uneventful. I guess we're going with Briscoe's flag.
We're going with flags because it's plural. Type of food. That's nice and specific.
Oh, pasta.
Nice.
Because I had that for dinner.
A noun.
Oh my God.
The easiest one.
New York City.
I love it. A silly word.
What is a silly word? Like bozo?
Like kerfluffle. Bozo could work. Bozo works. A place.
Oh God. I'm running out of places. Madison Square Garden.
Okay. A number.
15.
And the last noun, and you're good.
Hammerstein Ballroom, because that's where I think Final Battle's gonna be.
I freaking wish. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
The troll that lives under the Disney World shares tips for keeping his home purple clean. Don't clutter up your Tokyo Dome with sentimental garbage like pictures of bitches or running trophies. Running trophies actually make sense. Having too many wishes visible ruins the element of surprise. Clean up immediately. It's easy to let Bryan Danielson work get away from you. Wash the Briscoe flags right after meals so that pasta doesn't sit too long in the sink. For a troll, scraps of New York City could be considered evidence. Make the most of it. Even if it doesn't win the Bozo Award for Best Home in the MSG, it's still yours. Spend at least 15 minutes a day simply sitting back and appreciating your Hammerstein, sweet Hammerstein. It's beautiful. Thanks for playing along.
No problem. That was my anxiety was not okay.
Isn't it crazy? It's a lot of pressure. Yes. Cresta was the only one who was like, I got this. But we're going to see if Joel knows what an adjective is. Joel, do you know what an adjective is?
I know that you guys must be bored AF.
No, it's just... We talked just a normal, reasonable amount today. And it was an hour-long episode, so we were done after like 35 minutes. And then we talked about how Kimmy's going to Aruba and how I'm going to go with her. And it's going to be free. And then we played Mad Libs.
Can I come to Aruba?
The whole Fightful team is going to come to Aruba, apparently.
No, it's a girls' trip, but you can play a Mad Lib if you want.
No, I'd much prefer Aruba if given the opportunity.
Boo. Boo, Joel.
let me Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I want to take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on,
Bahama,
Key Largo,
come with me,
Montego.
Ooh,
Why don't we go down to Kokomo?
down to Kokomo.
We'll take it fast.
Take it fast and we can take it slow.
That's where we want to go.
Extremely serious wrestling podcast. Joel, how was TNA?
The main event was 30 minutes long, and it included PCO propositioning Steph DeLander.
Oh.
They're going to have sex.
Does PCO do the CEO dance?
He should.
PCO.
He should.
Oh, that'd be so fun if they did that.
PCO.
I'm crashing this party with the music mic. Here I am.
No, what's up? We played Mad Libs, and I was saying you were the only one that I know that's ever just crushed Mad Libs, because you did.
That's because I'm a random person and this ADHD be like, bang, bang.
You were like fishes, wishes, bitches, and Kimmy stole from your playbook, and I respected it. So
yeah, I stole every word. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Listen, you lifted it, gently lifted it. What's wrestling if it's not lifting?
Inspired. We love that.
Hey, shout out to 75% of the people on this screen being women.
Hey.
None of that 50-50 stuff, Kate. None of that 50-50 stuff.
But see, if you was to go one-on-one with me, Kate, and Kimmy, you was about to have 25 and 2/3% chance at winning at best at sacrifice. But Joel knows he can't beat me, so he's not even gonna try. Sorry, I couldn't help it. It was free as
No, that was perfect.
No, that was beautiful.
Yes, if you're gonna bring it back to the show we talk about. My God.
Hell yeah. We'll get out of here and let you talk about TNA. Thank you to everybody who joined us for our ROH review into Vacation Talk and Mad Libs. We appreciate you, but stay tuned for the TNA crew. Guys, have a good night and have fun.
Enjoy your vacation, Kimmy.
Thank you. I'll share pictures for everyone to see.
Heck yeah.
I'm gonna block you for that.
Wow.
Not that I'm gonna block you.
Hey man, don't give me the opportunity to block you if you post nice photos from your vacation.
Because I don't want to see anybody else having fun. I'm miserable. I'm a wrestling fan on the internet. I hate you all.
Yeah, let me just be miserable. What's wrong with you? I already look like I've gotten some sun. The sun must be happening. It must be my lights. I must spend too much time under the lights here, even though my shows are mostly in the morning time. Hi, Cresta Star. How are you?
I am doing fantabulous. I missed you all. I'm about to be back on my regular streaming schedule. We're going to be back to wrestling. Your girl is a muggle no longer. Let's
go. Love it. She's back.
Let's go. We're back, baby. We're back to shit posting about wrestling here on Fightful.com.
The menace is here. Are you ready?
I am I'll be real with you. I'm ready to kind of blow through this because this TNA show, I feel like Righteous Reg. I feel like a negative Nancy. I feel like a hater. I feel like Kendrick Lamar because, oof.
We'll talk about it. I mean, listen, well, let's get it here for the audio friends. And a 1 and a 2. Hello, friends. We're back again. It's Fightful.com. It is time for your TNA post show, May 16th, 2024. I am Actual Pearl. Cresta Star is with me. Muggle no more.
Yes, the name of my new faction, Muggle no more.
and Muggle by design. That'll be the next one.
Nah, that's when I get fired from Fightful and I have to go back to muggling. Then I'm Muggle by design because you thought.
Just don't shave your head and we'll be okay.
Nah, I'm gonna shave my head. Okay. So this is totally off topic.
No, it's now part of this. Let's go.
For Halloween, I'm going to be Sailor Rattlesnake. And I'm going to have a bald cap on. I'm going to run around with the theme song of Stone Cold Steve Austin at the back and go, what? It's going to be great. It's going to be fabulous. It's going to be great. It's great. Since you talked about bald, and that's the first thing I thought of.
And now Stone Cold runs around, he's a cat dad. So you can run around with the Luna Stone Cold version of your own.
Honestly, I want Stone Cold to do something on Animal Planet because I would pop. I'd pop like a pimple.
Well, what we got here is a really nice tabby cat that I found backstage at a show once in Lexington, Kentucky. Sorry, I don't know why he sounds like Braun Strowman after a few minutes.
I gotta tell you, his Instagram stories with this one cat Poncho. Poncho is a world. He flip flop more than the Big Show. I'm more interested in Poncho's heel face, sir, on Stone Cold. It's great. Stone Cold, if you ever listen to this, your Instagram is top tier. You don't need nobody running it. You're doing a fabulous job.
Someone's got to pull out the depth chart, find out who's going where, and that cat lore. Anyway, plenty to talk about tonight on TNA Impact. As always, if you haven't already, leave a thumbs up on the video. And of course, subscribe to us here at Fightful.com and on YouTube.com/Fightful. Fightful Overbooked is where you get your extra content if you want some ESPN2 type knowledge dropped on you from some of the best in the business, including myself and Jeremy Lambert. We're in the weeds every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern till noon. We got FightfulSelect.com. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but we got a lot to talk about. Let's get right into it. Champions Challenge took up 30 minutes of this show. It was a very, very long match. We'll talk about that and, of course, everything else that went on, but we're on the way to Against All Odds. There is a TV taping this weekend. Cresta star. Overall thoughts tonight's show, please.
There were a few bright moments in this show, and you guys know I love wrestling, and I always try to be super duper positive. But tonight, wah, wah, I hate to be righteous, Reg. I get it. I will say, I want to show you guys my notes for the end match at the very end when PCO came out. I don't know if you can see it in all caps. No, please. I mean, I get what we're going for, but I gotta tell you, there were some bright spots. So I gotta give the overall an F.
Wow, you're really going for it, eh?
Listen, I love a good honky tonk.
That's fair. Listen, some shows are not going to be for you. Some shows are not for me. That's okay. I'm not going to say that tonight's show was an F per se, but I can see where it may not be someone's favorite episode of TNA Impact. There were some things that really look good. There were some things that are a little bit questionable that we're going to talk about. And in terms of just like the storytelling and the way things are kind of being moved around and the way that they're introducing certain beats from other stories into other matches. And of course, having a 16-person tag match that is a big clustermuck of a mess. It looks good on paper, but then the execution is always, a little bit more difficult. But again, here we are. Let's talk about it. If you want to get in on the conversation, you can go ahead and drop a super chat or go to humperchats.com. Cresta, tell them why, how, when, and where.
You can take your cellular device or your hands on your computer and go to humperchats.com, put in your dollar amount, and then type in your comment and say, Cresta, why are you being such a hater? And I'll respond with, maybe I'm just in my hater phase. Maybe for comedic effect. I'm going to be back at it again next Thursday watching TNA. So whatever I say is a lie. And then Joel will give his 2 cents and we get to keep a little bit more of that 2 cents and everyone's happy. Humperchats.com is where you should be. Thank you.
Bing. Anyway.
Bing, bing, bong.
Jana starts us off with a super chat, a very generous one, saying, Zia Brookside has so much potential and is a natural babyface. I hear chants for her every match. I hope they invest in her development properly because she could be their next big star. Fightful Select, we dropped notes today from an interview that Sean Ross Sapp did with Zia Brookside. That interview drops in full tomorrow. So if you want to go hear more from Zia Brookside, including her when she had just signed with TNA and everything else that she was doing at the time, go check that out. That's going to drop tomorrow, but the notes are up over on FightfulSelect.com, the best $5 in the business. And then she also adds, glad Joe Henry got the, sorry, I'm assuming gender, John. I'm sorry. They said, glad Henry got the pin. I feel weird about PCO and Steph DeLander. Well, listen. The Henry stuff we'll talk about in the main event. The PCO and SDL stuff. Before we talk about Zia, first of all, let's just dig in. Zia Brookside, fantastic, yes?
Yes, I agree. There we are. She reminds me, and I don't like to compare people, but Babyface, Bailey, NXT, ponytail to the side, very much that. She's a star, and you could see it, and she's very easily liked. Oh my God. Like, if somebody busted her open, I might have to go and fight for them. She's a star, period. I agree.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in just a second in her match with Ash by Elegance. But real quick, PCO comes out at the end of the main event. We can talk about this because it happened at the very end and had no bearing on the actual result of the match. Presents a Black Rose to Steph DeLander. Steph DeLander accepts. And how can I put this gently? I think they're gonna have sex.
No, do not want. I mean, I love wrestling and I always try to find something positive to say about it, but I don't know what to say here. And maybe it's me. Maybe my lizard brain is not evolved to see what's the bigger picture here. And I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. But all I could hear was Michael Scott going, "No, God, please, no." Maybe it's me. I'm known to be a jabroni. I am known to be a jabroni.
Listen, do you remember the last time there was a wedding in TNA or Impact?
Didn't Johnny Bravo get shot?
Johnny Bravo got shot. And I need a black wedding in which PCO and Steph DeLander get married. And listen, PCO's been revived 298 times by my count. So I would love, just so we can have Tommy Dreamer one more time react over someone's body. No, I can't do it because it's too late at night. I'll wake everyone up in the house. But I need it, Cresta. I need another Impact TNA wrestling wedding. I need it like a camel needs water in the desert after too many miles. I need it.
You son of a bitch, Joel. I'm in.
Let's
I'm
go.
in. I thought about it. I wanted to hate it, but I'm like, damn, he's right. It's gonna be so bad, but it's gonna be so good. That's gonna be sports entertainment.
And if it brings
God damn it.
And if it brings back Matthew J. Cardona, I will not be upset either.
When Matthew J. Cardona, the J stands for Jesus.
Sure, that's the word I'm going to go for. Ash by Elegance takes on Zia Brookside. Notice how I didn't do the gimmick because we'll get into it later. I love Tom Hannafin mentioning that these two women crossed paths in NXT without saying NXT, set in Orlando, where Hannafin was at the time when he was working for the company. He also, this was a good night for Tom Hannafin, in my opinion, makes reference to the reveal of the referee jersey that George Iceman, the personal concierge, is wearing. And of course, the referee, Paige Prince-Avalli, is like, no, I'm the referee, not you. But he makes reference to what Jason Hotch did at Rebellion during the Knockouts World Championship match, where he took put on the referee shirt and tried to be the referee. I like that he's throwing in those little extra pieces and extra moments. The match itself is good. It's simple. I want your thoughts. Ash by Elegance gets the win, but certainly does not look good in defeat as she gets knocked the FO.
I am going to focus on positive things, and I will tell you that positively, Zia Brookside looked amazing in this match. I think that she is so fluid and so clean. I gotta give props where props are due. When Ash by Elegance chopped that little girl's chest, oof, I felt that in my soul. Ooh, no ma'am. So I will keep my words soft and sweet, but I think Zia Brookside did a great job. I am now beginning to get Ash by Elegance's character. You're an annoying heel. And that's what it is. Oh, I done chopped my paper. Sorry. You're an annoying heel. And that's what it is. And that's fine. And I get it. And there are parts of her that I feel like can be more serious. But I think I need to give her more grace than I'm giving her. And if I relegate her to you're an annoying heel, like the good hands, when you finally come up, I can appreciate it more. So it finally clicked for me. So this match was okay, but Zia Brookside really was doing the Lord's work this match. I will also say Zia Brookside giving her the One Punch Man punch at the end.
So good. So after
that was so good.
First of all, Ash gets the win. She does the neck snap off over the ropes on Zia Brookside and then follows up with rarefied air. Looks good, gets the win. And then after the match, Ash by Elegance is given her bedazzled, bejeweled brass knucks, and personal concierge George Iceman, demands that Zia Brookside kneel because she's English, which is fantastic. By the way, George, letting you know, I heard you say a boot. I heard it, you Canadian. I heard it.
Get him.
Got him. However, Zia Brookside used the rings, as they were, to knock out Ash cold. That was so well executed. She just knocked out flat, kind of like Toni Storm did on Dynamite a few weeks ago with Serena Deeb, and that one punch knockout. Good, just knockout, comedic blow, down she goes. And then, of course, personal concierge throwing up the X like it's 1999 WWF. This was funny stuff. I liked it. Like you said, if you think of it as a comedy act, if you think of it as a not serious thing, this is a good presentation for Ash by Elegance.
It was a slow start, but again, I see her in the same role that Jazelle Shaw was when she first came in. You're doing too much with not enough. And as time goes on, it'll make you, as the viewer, appreciate where she's come from. And that's what I've decided. And I don't know if that works for anyone else, because I like to enjoy wrestling. I don't like to be one of those guys who watch stuff that hate it. You know what I mean? So I think Zia Brookside is a star here. And I do think that there's a feud that can't continue, because I think that these two do have a chemistry. It just ends up making Zia look great. And then that's just my truth, and I stand in it.
And that's fine, because Zia Brookside can easily keep moving up the ranks from this, and Ash can too, down the line. Let's not, listen, we're not going to sugarcoat it. She has a long name standing coming from WWE. That's something that means something, especially in TNA and other companies. So for her to eventually break out, that feels inevitable. However, Zia Brookside, who is still new, who is still, learning and growing within every aspect of pro wrestling, is at an advantage because she has that growth in front of her. It's not a knock at Ash. It's just she has more time to grow and develop as a wrestler, and Ash is still learning and doing. And you know what? Once upon a time, people were really, really praising the former Dana Brooke, saying that, she would be the first one to run down to the PC and try to do her best and learn, put up the ring, be in the ring, do things on her day off. I will never take that away from her talent. Anyone who wants to say, oh, she's just not a good worker. No, actually, she's quite good. When she plays to her strengths, I think she's really good. That rarefied air that she's been using as her finish, it's crisp, it's smooth, it looks good. Can she get better? Absolutely. She needs to be working with the right talent. And I think someone like Zia Brookside provides her that net to work well. And that's why this match ended up being better than it could have been.
And I'll even take it one step further. When you have someone like that, when you think about her tenure, you would make a great heel, because people already want to boo you. I'm going to use AJ Francis as a parallel. People already want to boo you. So why not play, like you said, to your strengths? Make you Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans with this damn fanny pack is another good example. How for a while they were just being menaces. I want you to play to your strength. I think there is a way to make her tough and strong, to be someone who menaces in the middle of a match, who believes that this is her time to shine. She would be great against a Jazelle Shaw. It's just one of those things where it's like, I know what you can be, so I end up wanting more. And I'm not trying to be hard on her, because can I do what she do? I probably can't even lace that girl's boots. And if she bench pressed me, I would cry. I would laugh, but I would also cry.
I'm thinking of the giggle too.
It wouldn't be funny. It'd be funny when she go like, oh, oops, oh, she picked me up.
Rosemary has this vignette backstage. Well, not backstage. She's in the middle of nowhere. She's all alone. Havoc was attacked by Ash by Elegance, and she's gone. We don't know where she's gone. She's going to work AAA out in a while, but we don't know where Havoc is. She's gone. So Rosemary's going to give up her attachments. She mentions Valkyrie. She's talking about Taya Valkyrie. She mentions the bunny, because Allie was a part of the Havoc and Rosemary's Demon and Bunny. And then she mentions Havoc, and she says she's not human. And then she pulls out a knife, and I'm like, oh my God, she's got a knife. But then she says, once you've lost everything, you're free to do anything. This is a new potential direction for Rosemary. I'm curious as to where this goes. Rosemary can go. We know that she can wrestle. She's a former Knockouts World Champion and Knockouts World Tag Team Champion. So the opportunity is there. I'm just curious as to what the expectation is on Rosemary in 2024. So what did you think of this promo?
Excited. No, it sounds like I have a frog in my throat. I apologize. I'm very excited, because much like with Crazy Steve, I feel like we're going to get to see a more deranged Rosemary, and I'm kind of here for it. I do think that out of all the women on the knockout side, Masha taking a step back, I feel like, from a little bit more of a violent style, left a hole for that. And I could absolutely see Rosemary being like, oh, y'all wanted a hardcore match? And I'm kind of excited. Like, do I want to see it? No, but also yes. You know what I mean? Because I'm soft.
No, but I'm interested as to where this can go, because again, Rosemary's been around for a while. She's in a couple of years, it would be 10 years. So she's been, I think, since 2016. There is a lot of time in Rosemary's Bank in TNA and also in the future. So we'll see where it goes. I like that they're trying to push her as a singular entity moving forward. Speaking of singular entities, Kushida's backstage with Santino Marella. They both felt sick because of Gresham's ink. And then they asked Kushida, are you going to be okay? He's like, yeah, I was sick for a week. I'm okay. I've got a match on Explosion. He's like, I'm going to be okay. Spoiler alert, he won't be okay. So that's going to air, I think, tomorrow because Explosion airs, I think, on Fridays. Anyway, the reason why we did this is because next Leon Slater and Alan Angels have a match. The Gresham referee is part of it. So I'm thinking to myself, oh, okay, that's going to be a part of it. Remember earlier, Cresta, when I said there were certain story beats that made no sense as to why they were playing into random matches? This is one of them. And it gets even weirder because after Leon Slater gets the win with a fantastic Swanton 450 because he's so damn talented, Khan comes out and goes after Alan Angels after what had happened on Alan Angels' sound check. And then Slater stood up to him, makes the save. So I'm like, oh, why did we do the Gresham spot with the referee just to replace the referee? And there was the finish had nothing to do with the referee into Gresham unless he's about to be played into literally all of this. And meanwhile, Khan comes out and they play up Khan and Alan Angels, and now Slater's part of it. I don't know. I didn't know how to feel about it other than like, what are we shoehorning in here? Give me your thoughts on the match. Give me your thoughts on just the whole word soup.
Thank you, because I felt crazy watching this match a little bit. The match itself was good. Alan Angels is a fantastic wrestler. Leon Slater for being 19, holy cow. However, okay, the ref with the ink, you want to keep the Gresham thing. So are we like in the Gresham universe? Is he moving parts here? Khan coming out attacking Angels, that's cool. But I guess Slater standing up to him. Why wouldn't you stand up to him before? I understand you were crazy and you were like, oh my God, he's there. I would have left the ring. Okay, Slater versus Khan going forward. Okay, not mad about that. That's the only positive thing I could say about that post-match. I'm not mad about Khan versus Slater coming up later, but I'm very confused as to why we did all of that. And I was like, maybe I'm missing something. Again, I'm known to be a jabroni. So I was confusion. I was very confusion.
I'm hoping it plays out in future weeks on TV. I trust that it will, but also, again, it was very strange to see Angels and Slater in a match where Slater and Angels have to deal with Khan, and then at the first half of the match, you're dealing with the Gresham referee with the ink, and it's all a callback to the earlier segment with Kushida and Santino Marella, and Kushida's not in the match. He's on Explosion. It was just a whole lot of like reshuffling and renavigating for something that might play out for all of these men moving forward, but really we don't know. I do like the touch. The referees all come out there wearing their black gloves to handle the sick referee. Like there's attention to detail here, which I do appreciate. I just don't know how it all fits yet, if at all.
No, I agree with that. And I would not be opposed to a situation where Jonathan Gresham is pulling the strings via ink. I mean, that sounds so weird, but maybe I've been watching too many horror things, but I'm here for a little horror and wrestling if we're going to do it. It's not like I haven't seen The Undertaker, PCO, and even to a lesser extent, Sami Callihan and Decay, which are just kind of ultra violent. I'm okay with it. I just, like you, I kind of want it to make sense. And right now, maybe I'm still in the dark. Let it play out, Bray Wyatt. Let it happen. So I'm going to just let it play out. Because at first I was confused about Bray Wyatt's Playhouse, and then it made sense. So I'm hoping. I trust TNA. I do trust TNA, but I wanted to do something with Jonathan Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know where that came from, but do something with Jonathan Gresham because we've started him mad times, and it's pissing me off.
Gresham's going to take over TNA's Twitch channel later on.
Period, as he should.
He's gonna start the Gresham 6, and it's gonna be a weird lore-based Twitch offensive, just like WWE did today with their weird. Go check it out. That's all I'm gonna say. Just WWE Twitch. They did a whole thing for the Wyatts. If you're into that, then man, you got an hour's worth of lore. Gabby Laspiza interviews Jake something. I'm pretty sure Gabby is out here just getting all the wrestlers to hate her, which is like, that's my gimmick on In the Weeds. Like well, not me. That's Jeremy makes me out to be the bad guy. But like Gabby's doing it for real. And she's like, oh no, I didn't mean I didn't mean to upset you. I just said the thing that triggered you, which in Jake Something's case is her being like, hey, are you something now, you big old loser? And Jake Something's like, what are you calling me a loser for? But anyway, the point is, he says he built himself from the ground up because he was told he was going to be nothing. And then mentions, he's on a losing streak. He blames Cody Deaner for it. Deaner comes out and says, hey, we're cousins. And I'm like, oh, I haven't heard that in a while. And then you got Cody speaking for Jake the whole time, says, the people, Cody, were with you, blah, blah, blah. And then I love that Jake Something reminds the people and us that Cody turned on him to join Violent by Design. But of course, Cody Deaner has a way out of everything because he's a snake-tongued gentleman. Says, you're going down a dark path and I'm worried about you. So what does Jake Something do? Ooh, pow. Punch him in the face.
Honestly, when he said, well, I'm here with you. We're all here with you. And he responded to you like you were here with me when you joined Violent by Design. I was like, got him. And then Cody Deaner basically says, my bad, but we'll always be family. We'll always be cousins.
Yeah, everyone loves their family to no end.
The hell we will. I'm so sorry. There's no way. Heck you, bro. You literally took me out. And honestly, I didn't know that about Jake Something's name. He said you didn't think I'd be anything, and now I'm something. I'm like, well, you ain't never lie there, buddy. Like, I'm glad that they finally mentioned that the Deaners are cousins and that these two are related. But also, does that mean Jake Something go beat up on Cody Deaner? Because I want to see Cody Deaner get ragged on by Jake Deaner. Even damn, I'm sorry, Jake Something.
It's got to end with somebody being best friends, riding tractors, drinking beers in Wrestle House again.
Honestly, the Deaners is what really made me kind of like TNA in the first place. So I am hating from the club outside, but if they got back together, it's gonna be me.
It's about time. But anyway, I'm looking forward to the inevitable match. I don't know if I call this a heel turn for Jake Something. I think there was a lot of weird work in this night. I don't know if this is Jake Something just being upset and needed to take it out on Deaner because Deaner's been this over the top babyface. Again, I'm willing to let this play out, and I'm willing to see if this is a Jake Something ragdolls Cody Deaner, or if this is they get back together. There's something in there. I don't know. Just the one thing that Deaner said on his podcast, he did an Ask Me Anything type of thing, and I think the funniest thing that he relayed from his podcast was that the People's Choice gimmick is a shoot, according to him. Where he said when he had to face GYV in a match, it said in the rundowns that they were working on it when they were working on the production side of things. They said it would either be GYV 1 or GYV 2. And then they said, oh, nobody ever thought about facing both of them. And then the crowd decided both of them. So we did both of them. And that wasn't planned. And I said to myself, wait a minute, didn't that match end with somebody coming to your aid by the end of the match? Didn't we have something like a run-in afterwards? How can you tell me this was a shoot? Anyway, just letting that breathe for a minute.
Delicious. I will just add quickly that this ends one of three ways. The Deaners getting back together, Something and Cody Deaner fighting, Something and Cody Deaner fighting, and then the Deaners getting back together. So
I think it might be that one, but we'll find out soon. It could just be Jake does actually turn heel, beats up Cody Deaner, and Deaner just moves on his merry way moving forward. Either
sometimes
way,
you gotta beat up family. Sometimes some get gone.
Sometimes you got to beat up your family.
Bully Ray did it to Bubba. Matt did it to Jeff. Who else did it?
Ryan and Nick have fought. Absolutely.
Come on, every brother, sister, everyone fights.
Anyway, speaking of fighting, Gia Miller's backstage at Speedball Mountain. They'll be fighting each other this weekend at the TV tapings. That match is going to air next Thursday on Impact. Looking forward to it. They put over their match. They're just talking about the respect they have for each other. And I'm looking forward to Speedball versus Trent Seven. Who do you think is walking out of this match with the number one contendership?
I honestly feel like it might be Trent Seven. I don't feel like Trent Seven loses anything if he loses to Ali, who's absolutely going to cheat.
I think Trent Seven wins it. I think
so too.
I think we're going to look at Speedball versus Ali for the X Division Championship in Montreal.
Wait, you were disagreeing with me. I mean,
No, I'm agreeing with you because the number 1 contendership match is for against all odds. I'm saying both men are going to have title matches, but Trent Seven is going to get the first one. He's going to win the match. He's going to win the match this weekend that airs on Thursday, and then Speedball will get a title shot later on.
And I think that when Speedball does get a title shot, it's going to be more of like a program, if you will, not just a you guys fight you guys and you guys. And I think this would be the start of it. Ali's going to be very dastardly, as one political pundit does, and it's going to rub Speedball the wrong way. And that's what's going to start with that buildup. I think he loses in Montreal, but it goes on. And if there is a ping pong back and forth, it'll be a series of great matches, because Ali versus Mike Speedball Bailey, if Ali don't step on this man's toes and completes the trifecta of heel turn, I don't know, man.
He's already a heel, let's face it.
I'm ready for it to be the worst.
Well, we'll see what happens, but that's kind of what I'm thinking is the next couple of months at least. Frankie Kazarian defeats Steve Macklin. This match was very strange. Steve Macklin, working as a pseudo babyface, both scares me and enlightens me. Now, I don't think that Macklin has turned babyface. Do not quote me on that. But it feels to me like this match was maybe a testing of waters, maybe looking to see if this would work. It was a very traditional back and forth with the hope spots and everything, but the crowd wasn't totally sure how to react. And that was strange, even to me. I was like, I don't know how I should feel about either man other than Kazarian as an asshole. That's how I need to feel. But both men are like, they're going into it and they're going for everything. I love the KIA reversal that goes from the apron to the floor. It's nasty. Macklin hits a psycho knee and the jar head bucket. That looks good. Gets a near fall. The match is good. It ends with the Rascals interfering. Both Trey and Wentz and the spray paint get involved. So that's how Kazarian gets the win. What do you think of the match? What do you think of all this stuff going on with Macklin and Kazarian and the Rascals and the babyface and who's a heel and the confusion? Let's go.
Bro, at first going into this match, I was like, I don't care. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this match. This match, for all intents and purposes, listen, this match was stiff. I was pleasantly surprised when Kazarian yeeted Macklin off of the apron and Macklin just biffed it and you just heard his back. I was like, oh, God damn. Listen, I always give Macklin crap on this channel, but he was working tonight. And him and Kazarian, tonight, it was, I don't know, this match was really good. The reversal, the chicken wing in the middle of the ring to the reversal to the rope where he still didn't get it. And he had to pin this man for him to be like, all right, I'll let it go. Kazarian was kind of working. I'm not mad at this match. I'm not. I will say I thoroughly enjoyed Trey Miguel's overalls. I need to know where you got those from, if they have it in my size, and if they're under $100, because I'm not paying over $100 for damn overalls. And them screwing Macklin, I mean, you screwed them last time, and turnabout is fair play. I don't know what you thought was going to happen. I saw it in the chat, and I agree. Those damn rascals.
It's a fun story that they're telling. It's like I said, I think Macklin played a babyface out of necessity of this match. I also think that there's a little bit of like, how would this look? How would this look if we decided to go down the line? Macklin, in his role in TNA, he's never played the babyface. He's never been a crowd favorite. And like, listen, I think that he enjoys the roles he gets to play right now. But I think maybe there's a piece of him that's like, no, what would happen if I tried to get cheered? What would happen if I tried to be, hot ham Mr. Babyface? There are plenty of those right now on the TNA roster in the top of the divisions. But if this is a little like testing of waters, this wasn't so bad. It was strange, but it's not impossible. Rascals are always going to be pieces of shit.
And I feel like also too with Macklin, we could always go, if we can't cheer him, it gives anti-hero, like, listen, I'm a jerk, but I am not Bully Ray. So knock it off. I'm sick of you. I'll fight you. Like, I may be a bad guy, but I'm not Moose. I'm not going to burn down your house,
I mean, he could.
I mean, I could. Like, I have the potential to. Like Macklin has the potential to be those guys, but I feel like every time given the opportunity to be those guys, he always gets right there. It's like, you know what? You really did set PCO on fire and put Battery as you're wilding. I just buried it. I just buried him. No, that wasn't even him who buried him. He's like, I didn't even do all of that. You guys are crazy, bro. Like, I'm a bad guy, but I'm not that much of a bad guy. Jesus.
The flux capacitor into the caught in the crosshairs that they tried to do until Trey got the distraction on it. I liked where that was going. There was something in that spot that I liked. They teased it. They took a little too long to set it up, but with a little bit of practice, I think that was there was something in there. And then of course Trey Miguel did his thing and we had the spray paint and that was it. That was the match.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Rascals. Again, Macklin had this coming. He did screw them, but it was a good match. I liked this match. Going into it, I was like, whatever. But then I was like, these boys are cooking.
So let's say Macklin and the Rascals, two of them, one of Macklin. Does Macklin find a friend or does he do it 2-on-1, get beat down? Like how do you see this playing out?
I mean, who's going to give Macklin a chance? Unless, now this is a chaotic option, and hear me out. Unless the person who gives Macklin a chance is Josh Alexander when he comes back from injury.
That's interesting. It's interesting. By the way, he's not so much injured. He's just not. He pulled himself from the month of May bookings. Did Josh Alexander?
I'm going with what they said. And on TNA, they say he's not medically cleared. So that's what I was going with. I say that to say Josh Alexander is the standard bearer for TNA right now. Like, even though there are other people who are the champion, he's still the guy. And you know who forgives? God and Josh Alexander to an extent. And if you guys are running amok, especially Frankie Kazarian calling yourself the king of TNA one moment, then telling the crowd you got a chance to hate me, now you can hate me. And the Rascals are little miscreants. I get it. Truly get it. I could see Alexander being like, listen, I don't like this guy. But in the interest of fairness, Kazarian, I cannot have this stand. And you Rascals, you got to be stopped. Maybe a Speedball will join because Speedball's all about virtue and whatnot. Maybe get I don't know what kind of match you get out of that. But I could see Josh Alexander, like, surprisingly, and Mac would be like, I don't want your help. He's like, well, guess what, Mimi? You're going to get it.
We'll see where it goes. I'm wondering, what's Wesley Blake? Is he still working at the PC? Weston Blake?
You mean Wesley?
Yeah, no, not Wesley. I'm talking about his old tag team partner, Macklin's old tag team partner, Weston Blake, who was Wesley Blake in WWE.
Got it. So I'm thinking of Wesley, the other rascal.
Not Dez. No, not Dez. We'll see where it goes, but just put it out there. Jazelle Shaw and Gail Kim are besties. No, they're not. Gail Kim wants to be the guidance counselor for Jazelle Shaw. And she asks, where are you guiding me? And Gail says, home. And then later on socials, Jazelle says, I'm going to be coming back to TNA. So I assume this weekend we'll be seeing Jazelle Shaw, who was upset. She can't win the big one. She's like, Gail Kim, you've won the big one. Like, yeah, you don't get upset. And it seems like they're trying to play up Jazelle Shaw eventually winning the big one. I don't know when or where, but they're certainly trying to get somewhere with this Jazelle Shaw maybe babyface turn. They're trying to find some way to get some sort of, I don't know, some sort of not heat, the opposite of heat. They're trying to get you behind her. What do you think of this?
I'm so sorry about that. My cat was doing something she was not supposed to be doing. I had to be real mom real quick.
That's fine. Jazelle Shaw, give me your thoughts.
No, I actually like this. Part of me wants them to be a tag team. I think the knockouts division, the tag team knockouts division really, really needs oomph. You got it. You've got the girls, but they need something. However, I can see under Gail Kim's guidance, her leading Jazelle Shaw to a championship. Maybe not off of Grace. Maybe Grace loses to somebody else. Or maybe off of Grace. Or the chaotic option, since I am being chaotic. Gail leads her all the way to the top. It says, number one rule, don't trust nobody, and then screws her. I would eat that up. I love a good heel turn.
So I think it's the other way around. I think Giselle gets taken to the top, loses the match, loses it on Gail Kim. And we set up Jazelle Shaw versus Gail Kim.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And Gail Kim was like, all I did was try to help you while you was in the woods crying, and you gonna blame me? Ooh, that's good. Oh, Joel, that's
and
good.
If she's
that's
not,
good shit, pal.
If Jazelle Shaw is not the quintessential diva, she says, I'm the quintessential knockout. And that's how we transition a new knockouts head of heads right there. We'll see. We'll see.
I like that. Book it, Dano. I don't know who's the lead booker, so book it, Santino.
We'll have some conversation. I don't know anyone. Santana, this part 2 interview again. They really knock these out of the park. Hannafin's good in this. Santana's good at this. It's so relaxed, but it's so impassioned. They cover, the sobriety aspect of Mike Santana's career, the tugging on the heartstrings. And that's a story he told Jeremy and I on In the Weeds about, his injury, his sobriety, and what led him there. And like, we all teared up when he told it, including Santana. Like, we all had a moment. Go watch that interview if you haven't. It's from late last year, when he was getting ready to do an appearance of Warrior Wrestling. He was just about to leave AEW at the time, but he mentions it here, and I thought that was great. And then they bring it all back. They say, you're here in TNA, you're doing the singles thing. He says, the target's on everyone's back, and I'm ready to climb the mountains. I loved this. It makes Santana important, but it doesn't force you to have to watch a series of matches where he just randomly wins and says, now I deserve a world title shot. What do you think of this whole thing?
Oh, when you said it was tugging at the heartstrings, when they showed his daughter's hand right now, I had a thug tear leave my eye, because that's real. And then he said something afterwards that, like, I don't have kids, but he said, if your kid says something along the lines of, if your kid says something like that to you and that doesn't change you, it doesn't make you feel nothing, like, what are you doing? I'm like, oof. I do think that I think sobriety is very important. I think I said this last week to talk about, because there's a lot of people, especially in entertainment, that's like, it's cool, be drunk, and sometimes you're seen as a lame or a square. It's okay to be sober, dude. It's okay to be straight edge. It's okay. Like, this, I got me in the feels. But then he was like, it's cool because I'm 1 year sober. I got my stuff together. And if I could survive this, I could go solo dolo on my own. Left AEW, and now he's here ready to be on everyone. He transitioned it, like you said, very smoothly. Talk about, I could be mad at Macklin, but I'm not mad, because I would do the same thing, and I'm just as hungry as he is. So let's go. I'm like, this was superb. This itself was superb. And out of all of the times that they've done this with people, this one at the top of my list, right underneath Josh Alexander, because this is fantastic.
They just announced IWGP World Title Eliminator match, Jon Moxley versus Konosuke Takeshita. Eliminator match. So at least that makes the Dominion match not mean less. Anyway, sorry, got sidetracked. Tony Khan on Twitter always sidetracks me. Home stretch, Humper Chats, Super Chats, Champions Challenge match. Matt Hardy, Ryan Nemeth, Eric Young, Joe Hendry, Sami Callihan, Steph Delander, and Spitfire, the team of Jody Threat and Danny Luna, defeat the team of Moose Eddie Edwards, Laredo Kid, Jordynne Grace, Alisha Edwards, and Masha Slamovich in a 16-person match where First Class cuts a promo from the box. Laredo Kid versus AJ Francis is this weekend for the Digital Media Championship, being taped for TV, so we'll see that. And it's a 30-minute main event, and the system wear basketball jerseys now. You want to hear about the numbers, Cresta Star?
Is there a significance to the power numbers?
You bet, baby.
Okay, I'm ready.
The numbers are 69, 87, 83, and 31. Now, I'm sure you can assume Alisha Edwards wearing the number 87. What do you think that is?
The year she was born.
That is the year she was born. Her and I are 6 months apart. Edward Edwards.
I too was born in the year of 87. Year 87.
We are
year 87.
so old. Edward Edwards, not to be outclassed, 83. I'm sure you can assume that is
his birth year as well.
He's old. And then Moose wore 69, not because he's a memer, but because he played...
Oh, football. I was going to say because BBL jersey, BBL.
Nope. He's been Moose Nation 69 forever. And finally, this is the one that almost got me. Brian Myers is wearing the number 31. Why do you think Brian Myers wears number 31?
I think I know this because I had just started watching wrestling. Wasn't that how many times he lost to the Fed before he was finally released? He was 0-31?
No, he was 0-200 and something.
Jesus Christ. Yikes. Yo.
Yeah, they made it a whole thing. 31 was his high school jersey number.
Okay, oof. 200.
Oh, God. Go back and watch WrestleMania 35. You'll hear all about it.
Oh no!
Yeah, that
Oh
was
no! Oh
WrestleMania from 5 years ago.
no!
Yeah, that was a big thing. That was the big moment. That was all leading up to the Cardona and Myers win the tag titles on the pre-show at WrestleMania.
If I was Brian Myers, me and Mr. McMahon would have to square up outside.
There are enough people wanting to square up with Mr. McMahon right now.
That's
So we don't have to
true.
talk about that.
That's
Anyway, the match itself, 30 minutes. It was long. It was fine. There were moments that I loved. Joe Hendry wins the match. I love that. Hits the standing ovation on Brian Myers. We mentioned the PCO stuff, but let's talk about it. Overall thoughts on this match. Ali ditches in the middle of it, so he doesn't actually lose, which is a big deal. And yeah, there you go. In the ring, it's 3-on-3 in the ring. So basically, it doesn't matter that there's 16 people involved in this match. You can only do 3-on-3 at one time. It's very weird.
I was so confused about why we had to do that first class thing. It didn't even play into anything in the match. Okay, I guess we have to kill time.
To get
Whatever.
AJ Francis on the show. Which, like, it's fine. It's Doll. And also, Doll is going to get the Laredo Kid Digital Media Championship match on Thursday. So, like, they'll play into it and they've already planned with it. But if you're just watching it cold, you're like, what the hell is this?
I wanted Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry, I can't look at him the same. Every time I see him in AJ Francis, all I can think of is, can you please get fired? He cooked that man. And that's a good thing and it's a bad thing because now this is what I'm remembering you. I want to give props to the hot set match that we had between Danny Luna and Jordynne Grace. There's a meat division somewhere, and all of you companies are cowards. I'm calling you all out. I want my damn meat division. I am dying of not gout, and I need to get gout from having too much meat. Thank you very much. Ali leaving, and then like 5 minutes later on Twitter, after he left, tweeting, "That doesn't work for me." Oh, that was great. Oh, man. Ali is in his heel bag. And we might have to put his name in the running for the biggest hater of the year because that was great. That was standing ovation for the win on Myers. I don't know. I guess this was a cluster and it was fun. But I guess the PCO stuff at the end, I also guess, and me and my little brother watching TNA say he's going to pull out Matt Cardona's head.
What's funny about the Ali walking out thing is that currently he's got this whole like refusing to lose on the Indies, New Japan thing that came out that he's played into as like now he's 32-0, so now he's doing the Goldberg walk. This would have been a loss. So for him to walk out and be like, no, and then saying that doesn't work for me, brother, is absolute peak. It was so good. I'm a big fan of that.
Honestly, anything we lift from Bogan, I don't feel bad. I honestly don't feel bad. I've been bamboozled because that used to be my favorite wrestler. And to find out that he wasn't saying, brother, lift it all from him. Take it. That's not even his stuff. It's not even his stuff.
This was a very confusing match, much like the Macklin and Kazarian match, because you had different what's the word I'm thinking? Different
styles.
Base alignments. No, it's the alignments. You've got Moose, Eddie Edwards, Alisha Edwards, Masha Slamovich are all heels. Laredo Kid, Jordynne Grace are on their team because they're champions and they're baby faces. And then on the other side, you've got Matt Hardy, Ryan Nemeth, Eric Young, Joe Hendry, Sami Callihan, and Spitfire. And then there's Steph DeLander. And you don't know, like at the end, Steph DeLander's standing tall, and then she becomes like the focal point of the PCO moment. And it's like, who are we supposed to be cheering for in this whole thing? Like, how does this all work? Again, hoping that it gets discussed and play out into Against All Odds. And again, it feels like everyone who was in that Champions Challengers match, they're all going to get some sort of championship repercussion or compensation, because again, the challengers beat the champions, so now they have something that they can all go back and say, we deserve title matches for all of our winners and so on and so forth, and that's fine. And then you take out Laredo Kid and AJ Francis, because AJ Francis is probably going to win that digital media championship. Poor Laredo Kid. At least he got a defense out of it. But it was just a very strange match to have given the alignments. It was a fine match. It was just strange, and it took up 30 minutes of time. Joe Hendry, though, again, proves to be extremely over, and you're going to get a huge opportunity with him if you move him to the main event scene sooner than later. He can work, he can talk, he has the look. I know what's stopping TNA from doing it. I get it. Like they haven't done like the progressive build, but the crowd is into it, and maybe it's time to start thinking about striking while the iron is hot.
And I'll even say, to Joe Hendry's credit, offline, he's really super over. Like, there is something to be said about you taking your wrestling theme that, as somebody who went to AEW Dynasty, people were singing Joe Hendry. And then now you're in the top 30, and I think like in the top 10 in Scotland, and like literally top 30 US. Like that's not even like that's kind of crazy. So I do think there is something to be said about moving him up, and he is definitely someone that if he beat Moose, we hate Moose. We hate the system. And who else to take on the system than some guy who's gonna do a diss track about? Can you imagine the diss tracks? Can you imagine Kendrick Lamar and Joe? I'm sorry, I'm dragging.
No, but this is the whole thing though. With Henry, the problem, I guess it's a good problem to have, is that he's so popular because of the music and the non-seriousness. He has not been presented as super serious, gonna kick your ass, win a championship type of wrestler. He's been very jokey. He's won the digital media championship. That's it. The popularity is there, but is the popularity going to translate to a Josh Alexander-esque world title? And not that everyone needs to be like Josh, but the idea that, can he wrestle the style that fits the title, that fits the reception that he gets? Like there is a big thing that needs to happen with Joe Hendry's performance that needs to get people thinking differently than, oh, funny guy with a guitar.
No, I agree. Now I see what you mean. He needs to fight a Eric Young, a Sami Callihan. He needs someone that's going to test his GYV even. He needs someone that's going to test his grit. Nah, I get what you mean. Nah. Oh, I never thought about it like that. I'm thinking it might not be too bad because he can go, and there's no doubt he can go, but I see what you mean. He would need someone that's really going to be like, even if you win, I'm going to whoop your ass. He needs a Josh Hammerstone. Is it Alex Hammerstone? Oh my goodness.
Alexander Hammerstone, yeah.
Okay.
Although it's Josh Hammerstone would be fantastic. That's his cousin.
even a Jake something, I think, in this situation would be really good for him, or even not a Rhino, because that would end up being jokes too.
Well, so this is the whole thing, right? He needs to get his ass beat to the point where he fires back, and he doesn't fire back with a song. He fires back with an impassioned promo about not getting his ass beat again. And something like that carries him further in the seriousness of a presentation to a world's champion. That is really the big thing with Joe Hendry, is that, again, don't get me wrong, I cheer for the man at every single stop along the way.
Same. I love Joe Hendry. Ugh.
But the difference between the quote unquote main event style and what Joe Hendry's doing is a comedy song. And it's not there yet. That like wrestling fans are not into, having that world champion funny man. I don't think it's there yet, but I think that Joe Hendry has the opportunity to refine or just tune his character to make it both funny and an ass kicker, but he needs to have that ass kicker moment.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I think this is the same problem that what's his name, Max Caster ran into. It's funny, it's great, it's great, but I think there has to be a gritty moment, like you said, so you can stop doing it. Like you said, come back with a promo and say, "There's no jokes, there's nothing funny. I got my ass beat. This was crazy." And then when you eventually go for a big one, and you do fight a Moose or not Hammerstone, Josh Alexander, you can be like, yeah, I make a song about your thing, but this is also what I've done. I'll beat you up. So stop playing with me. I agree. I don't want to think about, I believe in Joe Hendry. That's what I believe.
We'll see where Joe Hendry lands. He is facing Edward Edwards at the TV tapings. So maybe he'll get his ass beaten, then fire up on that.
He gonna get finessed out his boots. The system gonna cheat Joe Hendry out his boots. He gonna write a whole song on the system, and then they're all gonna jump him.
Edward Edwards' old ass 1983 ass motherfucker. Anyway, that is Impact for May 16th. Oh, by the way, Ryan Nemeth hit the knick-knack. Sorry, we call it the rick-rack when he does it.
Yo, shut up. Not Roro Raggy, the Rick Rack.
It was the rick-rack. I just had to get that in there before the end. And then, like I said, PCO offers the rose to Steph DeLander, and there will be a wedding, I'm sure, at one point, and we will all just love dissecting that when it happens.
Joe Hendry is singing the music at that wedding, and I cannot wait. Oh my God.
If they do that at Slammiversary, because PCO's from Montreal, he is Quebecois. If they do it at Slammiversary, I will be there and I will officiate the stupid wedding. How's that? TNA.
I will write lyrics for it. Yo, me and Joe want to help. We want to help plan this black wedding.
I'll be there with bells on. I will resuscitate PCO for what would be the 497th time when we get to Montreal. I'll be there. I'll put on a tux. I'll rent one. I will buy one. Indochino. I will ask for anything. Let's get that going. Let's do the wedding between Steph DeLander and PCO in Montreal. Okay? Other than that, Cresta Star, what you got going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Cresta Star. It's been fantastic being with you every Thursday and every Saturday. I'm here on Fightful. Thursdays, myself and Joe Pearl go over all things TNA/Impact. And on Saturdays, myself, Riccacino, and Iridian go over all things Collision. My muggle, no more. I will be doing more online stuff. So we're getting back to my schedule soon. Not yet. So I'm not giving you any announcements because last time I did that, it kind of went belly up. So anywho, I love you all. I respect you. Find me on Twitter, being a man instead of pretending to be Seahawk. So that's Cresta the Star. And if you hate me, I'm at Joel Pearl.
And if you hate me, I am at Seahawk. Or at Sean Ross Sapp. I don't know. But actually, I am here every Thursday with Cresta Star doing the TNA post show. I might be on the SmackDown post show tomorrow night. I have been asked. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to make Kate wait for it. I'm going to make her wait. Maybe y'all want to.
Listen, if you don't want to do it, I'll do it. I'll come to the SmackDown.
No, I'm going to do it. I'll probably do it.
Work.
Yeah, leave it in the comments. Really, Joel gets work. Cam's been fighting this week. That's right. Anyway. Oh, I am in the weeds also every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern till noon. We always talk wrestling because that's what we do over on Fightful Overbooked. If you haven't subscribed to us, if you haven't dropped that thumbs up and supported us here, well, first of all, we appreciate you, but we need you to appreciate us always because we love you. I'm at Joel Pearl, JOELPERL. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We will see you in the next one.